The news started circulating quickly and immediately caught the attention of fans. But for those who had been following the situation closely, it wasn't entirely unexpected. The New England Patriots have decided to move in a different direction and will release Stefon Diggs once the new league year officially begins next week. Because of league procedures, the team cannot finalize the move immediately, but all indications confirm that the paperwork will be completed as soon as the new calendar opens. For many supporters, it marks the end of a chapter that was short in time, but still memorable. For weeks, there had been quiet conversations around the situation. Behind the scenes in the National Football League, insiders were already hinting that Diggs' future in New England depended heavily on a financial adjustment. His contract carried a major impact on the team's salary cap, and that became a central factor in the decision. The organization reportedly presented a clear path forward: restructure the contract to lower the cap number or prepare for a separation. In the end, both sides decided that going their separate ways made the most sense. Even with that reality setting in, many fans still look back on the season with appreciation for what Diggs brought to the team. When he first arrived, expectations across the league were mixed. Some analysts wondered whether he could still produce at a high level in a new system. But as the season unfolded, Diggs quickly proved that he could still be a major factor in an offense that desperately needed a reliable playmaker. Throughout the year, he became the primary target in the passing game. His route running, timing with the quarterback, and ability to create separation helped stabilize the offense in key moments. Week after week, when the Patriots needed a conversion on a critical third down or a big play to swing momentum, the ball often found its way into Diggs' hands. The numbers reflect just how important he was during the season. Diggs finished the year with 85 receptions and surpassed the 1,000-yard mark in receiving, an impressive milestone for any wide receiver in the league. He also averaged double-digit yards per catch and contributed several touchdowns that played a role in shaping the outcome of tight games. What made those numbers even more impressive was the context surrounding the season. Earlier in the year, there were real doubts about whether Diggs would even be fully ready to go when the schedule began. His preparation leading into the season required a serious commitment, and he worked relentlessly to ensure he would be available from the very first game. That determination quickly earned respect inside the locker room. Teammates often pointed to his work ethic as an example. Practice sessions, film study, and the attention he gave to small technical details all showed why he had been one of the most productive receivers in the league for years. Younger players on the roster took notice, learning from the way he approached every aspect of the game. There were also several moments during the season that reminded everyone exactly what kind of player Diggs still was. In multiple matchups against strong opponents, he delivered clutch catches that kept offensive drives alive. Tight windows, contested catches, sideline receptions that required perfect footwork. Those were the types of plays that defined his contributions. But as the season progressed, there were also subtle signs that the team had to think carefully about the future. Production remained solid, but the rhythm he had established early in the season began to shift slightly during the most demanding stretch of the schedule. As the competition intensified and the games carried greater stakes, the numbers started to dip. In the postseason, his role appeared less dominant than it had been earlier in the year. There were games where he finished with only a handful of catches and relatively modest yardage totals. For a player carrying the responsibility of being the primary receiving option, those quieter performances inevitably sparked discussions within the organization about long-term planning. Another major factor in the decision was the financial structure of his contract. Diggs' cap hit was sitting around $26 million, a significant commitment for a team that is still shaping its roster for the future. Considering that he will turn 33 during the upcoming season, the front office had to evaluate whether maintaining that level of investment was the right move moving forward. By choosing to release him, the Patriots will open up a substantial amount of salary cap space. Even after accounting for the remaining financial obligations tied to the contract, the team will gain valuable flexibility heading into one of the most important parts of the offseason. That extra room under the cap could play a crucial role as the organization looks to reshape certain areas of the roster. And that timing is especially important because the next phase of the league calendar is right around the corner. With the start of the free agency period approaching, teams across the league are preparing to make aggressive moves in order to strengthen their lineups. The Patriots now find themselves with both financial flexibility and a clear need to address one of the most important positions on the field. Despite the business side of the decision, Diggs' presence inside the locker room left a lasting impression. Beyond his production on the field, he brought a veteran mindset that helped guide younger players through the ups and downs of a demanding season. His voice during pre-game moments and his energy before kickoff often helped set the tone for the entire team. That kind of leadership does not always appear in the stat sheet, but it matters deeply within a professional locker room. Players spoke about how his confidence and intensity could shift the mood of the team before big games. It was the type of presence that veterans develop over years of experience at the highest level of competition. Now, with his departure approaching, the team faces a new reality. The wide receiver group currently on the roster features several young players with potential, but none have yet established themselves as a clear number one option in the passing attack. Without Diggs, the offense loses its most proven receiving threat. That reality creates a major question as the offseason begins to heat up. Because with the roster changing and the salary cap situation improving, the spotlight now turns to what the Patriots will do next. The franchise suddenly has both the resources and the motivation to pursue a new playmaker who can step in and become the centerpiece of the passing game for the upcoming season. With that reality setting in, the conversation quickly shifts to what comes next for the New England Patriots. Releasing Stefon Diggs was not just about moving on from a veteran receiver. It was also about creating the financial flexibility needed to pursue a new offensive centerpiece. And right now, all signs point to the team preparing to be aggressive as the market opens. The Patriots suddenly find themselves in a position that many teams around the league would envy. With the cap space created by this move, the front office now has tens of millions of dollars available to reshape the offense. That kind of flexibility opens the door to several possibilities, especially with the free agency window approaching across the National Football League. Multiple reports indicate that the Patriots have already been studying the wide receiver market closely. The goal is clear: bring in a player who can immediately step in and become the primary target in the passing game. After the departure of Diggs, the offense no longer has a proven number one option, and that makes this position one of the top priorities of the entire offseason. One name that has generated a lot of discussion is Alec Pierce. The receiver has quietly developed into a productive player and is expected to draw interest from several teams once the market officially opens. His most recent season showed flashes of exactly why teams value his skill set. His ability to stretch the field, combined with his impressive yards per reception numbers, makes him a dangerous deep threat in the right system. Pierce recently recorded the first 1,000-yard season of his career, and that accomplishment immediately raised his profile around the league. His production also came despite inconsistent quarterback play at times, which makes the numbers even more impressive in the eyes of some evaluators. The Patriots are believed to be among the teams monitoring his situation closely as the free agency period approaches. Still, the conversation around Pierce comes with an important question. While he has proven that he can be an effective receiver, there is debate about whether he fits the mold of a true number one option. Some analysts believe he is best utilized as a strong secondary target rather than the centerpiece of an entire passing attack. For a team that desperately needs a top playmaker, that distinction could be extremely important. That is why another name continues to appear in discussions involving the Patriots. A.J. Brown remains one of the most dominant receivers in football, and the possibility of a trade involving him has sparked interest across the league. Brown has built a reputation for producing elite numbers year after year, consistently surpassing the 1,000-yard mark while remaining a major touchdown threat. When you look at his track record, the consistency stands out immediately. Season after season, Brown has delivered strong production regardless of the circumstances surrounding the offense. That reliability is exactly what teams look for when they are searching for a true number one receiver. His combination of physical strength, route running ability, and playmaking instincts makes him one of the most difficult players to defend in the passing game. However, acquiring a player of Brown's caliber would almost certainly require a significant trade package. Reports suggest that the asking price could involve multiple high draft selections, which adds another layer of complexity to the situation. The Patriots would need to weigh the long-term value of those picks against the immediate impact that a player like Brown could bring to the offense. These types of negotiations rarely move quickly. In many cases, the initial asking price starts high before gradually shifting as teams evaluate their options. If no organization is willing to meet the original demand, the price can slowly decrease as discussions continue. That process can unfold over weeks or even months before a final agreement is reached. Beyond those two names, the Patriots are also evaluating several other potential options across the receiver market. Veterans and emerging talents could become available through both free agency and trades. Players like Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, Christian Kirk, Jawan Jennings, and DJ Moore have all been mentioned in different discussions around the league as possible targets depending on how their teams approach the offseason. Each of those players brings a unique skill set. Evans has long been one of the most reliable red zone threats in the league, using his size and physicality to dominate defensive backs. Hill, when healthy, is one of the fastest and most explosive receivers in football, capable of turning any play into a massive gain. Kirk offers versatility and route precision, while Jennings has built a reputation as a tough and dependable target in critical situations. Moore, meanwhile, has shown that he can produce impressive numbers even when playing in challenging offensive environments. For the Patriots, the decision will ultimately come down to finding the best fit for the offense and the long-term direction of the team. Adding a star receiver is not just about talent. It is also about chemistry with the quarterback, the financial structure of the contract, and how the player fits into the broader vision for the roster. Another important factor in all of this is timing. Free agency often moves quickly once the market officially opens, and teams that hesitate can miss out on key opportunities. That means the Patriots must be ready to act if the right player becomes available. With the cap space they now possess, they have the resources to compete with any team pursuing the same targets. There is also the possibility that the organization chooses to explore multiple moves instead of focusing on just one star. Rather than committing a massive contract to a single player, the front office could decide to strengthen the receiver group by adding depth and versatility. That strategy would create more options within the offense, even if it does not involve signing the biggest name on the market. Regardless of which path they choose, one thing is clear. The departure of Diggs has created a vacancy that cannot be ignored. The offense needs a reliable playmaker who can command attention from opposing defenses and provide a consistent target in crucial moments. As the offseason continues to unfold, every move the Patriots make will be watched closely by fans and analysts alike. The team has the resources, the motivation, and the opportunity to reshape its passing attack in a significant way. Now the focus shifts entirely to who will step into that role and become the next major receiving threat wearing a Patriots uniform. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers around the league suggest that the New England Patriots are preparing a massive contractual move that could redefine their defensive future. According to sources close to the situation, the front office is quietly laying the groundwork to secure cornerback Christian Gonzalez with a long-term deal that insiders are already calling eye-opening. Nothing is signed, nothing is announced, but the tone inside league circles is unmistakable. This is a priority, and the numbers being discussed are not modest. The Patriots' logic is clear. Gonzalez has rapidly become the kind of defender teams build around. Young, versatile, technically refined, and capable of neutralizing elite receivers without constant safety help. Executives from rival franchises reportedly believe New England wants to move early, avoiding the risk of market inflation that could push his value even higher if negotiations drag on. The strategy mirrors past Patriots moves, quietly locking in cornerstone players before public pressure drives prices into uncomfortable territory. What truly fuels the rumor mill is the projected value of the deal. Agents familiar with top-tier cornerback contracts speculate that Gonzalez's camp will seek figures that place him among the highest-paid defensive backs in football. For a franchise traditionally cautious with blockbuster extensions, such a commitment would signal a philosophical shift, an admission that elite coverage players are now as valuable as star pass rushers or franchise quarterbacks. Inside the building, the belief is that losing Gonzalez would be more costly than paying him. Coaches reportedly see him as the centerpiece of future defensive schemes, a player whose presence allows creativity elsewhere on the field. While official silence remains, the message between the lines is loud. If these negotiations materialize as expected, New England may soon unveil one of the most aggressive defensive contracts in recent memory, sending a clear warning to the rest of the league. Christian Gonzalez is not going anywhere. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.